who's put me in charge of everything and has given me everything except you. And then how could I do this to the one constant thing in my life? How could I do this to God, who's caused me to prosper, who's caused all of these good things to happen in the midst of all these terrible things I'm going through? So things went from bad to worse for Joseph, because that woman took advantage of Joseph. She ran and she grabbed Joseph and she said, "Come to bed with me." And Joseph was running away, and he ripped off his jacket that he was wearing, and he ran out of the house, and he ran away. He got out of that situation. We can imagine Potiphar's wife, I'm sure, was embarrassed. She was mad at Joseph, and she had his jacket in her hand. So she waited there all day till her husband came home, and she said, "Look what Joseph has done. He has tried to come and take advantage of me. And look, here's his jacket to prove that he came and tried to take advantage of me." So Potiphar was angry. He was mad, and so he took Joseph and he threw him in prison with all the other prisoners of Pharaoh. So Joseph went from being a slave, which he thought was rock bottom, and it got a lot worse. He went to prison. To the worst place you could ever imagine in all of Egypt. And he was put there. His circumstances changed all the time, from ups and downs and ups and downs. But what was the one constant thing in Joseph's life? It was God. So look what happened in Genesis 39. The story goes on to say, "But while Joseph was there in prison, the Lord was with him. He showed him kindness and granted him favor in the eyes of the prison warden. So the warden put Joseph in charge of all those held in the prison, and he was made responsible for all that was down there. The warden paid no attention to anything under Joseph's care, because the Lord was with Joseph and gave him success in whatever he did." Joseph could have chose to go through all those emotions that I just listed. God, why? God, I hate you. God, I'm angry. God, I blame you that I'm here. But Joseph did something that I want to challenge you guys to do. This is the second point of how we can overcome during tough times. Joseph did what was right in hard times. And here's what I challenge you to do. Do what is right even when times are hard. Do what is right even when times are hard. Now, I have 3 boys. Carson's my middle son. I have an older son named Caden. And I have a younger son. He's having his birthday. Actually, Carson and my youngest son, Corbin, are having their birthday this week. And so they'll be 3, and they'll be 7, and Caden is 9. And one of the things I tell my boys is that my #1 job as a dad is to teach them how to be real men that love Jesus. And one of our definitions of what a real man is this. A real man does what's right even when it's hard. A real man does what's right even when it's hard. Now guys, when times are tough, do you know what we want to do as men? We want to do the exact opposite of right. And we start to engage in destructive behaviors. And we start to do things to our body that's not productive, that hurts us, and that will ultimately hurt other people. So here's some practical advice that I want to give you guys and myself when we go through tough times. I want you to remember these 2 words: honor and dignity. Honor and dignity. You don't hear those words too often in our culture today. Honor and dignity. When you're going through tough times, our natural response is to go grab some alcohol and try to wash our troubles away. Our next response is maybe to go the next step and do drugs or other destructive behaviors when times get tough, because we want to numb our brain and we want to numb the things that cause us to remember why we're in the tough times. Or we do shameful things, like we become addicted to pornography. Or we turn to other things in our life that are destructive to us and to our families. So when you're going through tough times, I want to challenge you and myself to do what is right even when it's hard. And remember those two words, honor and dignity. That I will conduct myself with honor and dignity. That I won't run after the things that are wrong. Because in the end, you just feel guilty for doing those things. A second point is that we keep our pride in check. Keep your pride in check. One of my friends, if you can't tell the accent, I'm originally from Texas. You know, I know I speak like a Californian now, but I was actually from Texas originally. And so one of my friends there, he was a lead contractor for this huge company that contracted huge buildings on university campuses, sports stadiums, and things like this. And this man had a 6-figure income. Man, he had this amazing, like 5,000 square foot house on the lake. I'd love to go see this for him. All right? But this guy was fired in August. He lost his job. He can't make his 5,000 square foot house payment now. And so now they moved out of that house and they moved into a little apartment in a warehouse that one of his friends owns. And he has nothing. He lost it all. So when you're going through tough times and you lose it all, keep your pride in check. Because you know what this guy did? He said, you know what, I love my family, and I'm going to go take a job at Lowe's making minimum wage. And that's what he does now, while he's looking for another job. He's keeping his pride in check, because for somebody making 6 figures to go and make minimum wage, you can imagine what that would do to a man's ego. So keep your pride in check when you're going through tough times. If you need to go out and get a temporary job, go get a temporary job. Take care of your family. Don't sit at home saying, you know what, I'm too good to deliver newspapers, or to do this, or to do that. That's beneath me, or whatever your pride or your ego says. So keep your pride in check. And then the third thing is just take care of your family. Take care of yourself. When you're going through tough times, do what's right, even when it's hard. So guys, here's your homework for this week. We're going to stop our story of Joseph. But the story of Joseph is amazing. You should see what happens next. Do you think God leaves Joseph in prison? What about Joseph?